The angels whisper tonight that this message is not by chance. It is heaven's way of reminding you that love never follows the rules of time. You have been feeling something strange yet holy stirring within your heart, a connection that does not fit the world's definition. A bond that transcends what years or logic could explain. This younger heart, the one that appeared so unexpectedly, is not a coincidence. It is a divine orchestration written long before you drew your first breath. God's timing is perfect, and when He allows two souls to meet across the distance of generations, He is doing something eternal, not temporal. It is not about age. It is about assignment. You see, when heaven writes a story, it uses souls, not numbers. He looks beyond appearance and beyond time itself and sees only purpose calling and divine alignment. The angels say, "You have been chosen to walk beside someone whose spirit carries youth, not only in years, but in light, wonder, and faith. And they, in turn, were sent to you because your wisdom, your grace, and your spiritual depth will awaken something divine inside them." This connection is sacred exchange. Their innocence awakens your joy. Your strength anchors their growth. As it is written, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. In NIV, heaven saw your loneliness, your prayers whispered in silence, and chose to answer not through routine, but through revelation. This younger heart was sent to remind you how to feel again, to see the world not through weary eyes, but through the wonder of faith renewed. You might question it, you might even resist it, for the world loves to misunderstand what heaven ordains. But the angels say, God does not write stories for human approval. He writes them for eternal purpose. When you met this soul, something inside you recognized them, not from this life, but from the garden of your creation, where souls first sang before time began. You did not meet for romance alone. You met for remembrance. You came to remind each other of divine promises long forgotten, to heal the wounds time left behind, and to anchor each other in the rhythm of grace. The age difference is the veil, not the truth. For love, real, spiritual, heaven-breathed love, has no calendar. It moves where it is sent, and it fulfills what it was written to fulfill. You have walked through seasons of loss and waiting, and God knew that only a soul untouched by cynicism, unhardened by time, could help your heart breathe again. They were sent as a melody after years of silence, as laughter after your tears, as sunrise after your longest night. This is not an accident. It is assignment disguised as affection. And the angels are saying, be still. Do not rush to define it. Do not fear what others may think. Let it unfold gently under heaven's watchful eyes, because there is a divine reason behind every heart that crosses your path. But some hearts, only a few, are written in gold in heaven's book. As it is written, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights. James 1:17. This younger soul carries something you once prayed for, not in words, but in yearning. And you, in turn, carry something their spirit has long been missing. That is why the pull feels magnetic. Why your hearts recognize each other in silence. It is not merely emotion, it is divine memory. You are being reminded that time is not your master. God is, and when He ordains connection, He also ordains purpose, protection, and peace. The angels say this bond is meant to awaken, not to confuse. It is meant to heal, not to complicate. It is meant to restore, not to distract. You are being drawn into a divine partnership, one that teaches the older heart to dream again, and the younger heart to see deeper than the surface of the world. They look at you and see something eternal. You look at them and see something pure. Together, you mirror heaven's balance, wisdom and wonder, faith and fire, patience and passion. And this, dear one, is why God matched you for His glory, not your comfort. He wants to show the world that divine love is not limited by age, but illuminated by purpose. So breathe. Let go of fear. Let go of judgment. Let go of what should be. Trust what is. For the angels say this story is still being written, and heaven is smiling as it unfolds. Stay open, stay prayerful, stay anchored in faith, because when God writes a love that transcends time, He is not just giving you a relationship, He is revealing a reflection of His eternal heart. As the scripture says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. Jeremiah 31:3 NIV. That everlasting love is now breathing through your story. And the angels want you to know you are safe to feel it. You are chosen to live it. You are blessed to carry it. If this message has touched your spirit, share it with someone who needs to hear that divine love still moves beyond time. And if you wish to support this ministry of peace, your kindness helps these angelic words reach hearts still waiting for light. Breathe in this truth. The story God is writing through you is bigger than your understanding and more beautiful than your fears. The sacred purpose behind the connection, the angels say you have begun to sense it. This connection is not simply an encounter. It is a calling disguised as affection. Heaven has woven two lives together, not for worldly validation, but for divine elevation. The younger heart that walks beside you was chosen with precision, a vessel of light sent to stir the sleeping parts of your soul. You, in turn, were chosen as a vessel of guidance, an instrument of protection and gentle awakening. For in God's kingdom, love is not always a mirror of romance. Sometimes it is the rhythm of redemption. When the younger heart entered your life, it carried with it a flame, innocent, untamed, radiant. That flame was sent to touch your spirit, to remind you of joy forgotten, to breathe color back into a life dulled by endurance. And you, beloved one, were sent to that soul as a covering, a gentle guardian wrapped in wisdom, a voice of calm amidst their searching. The angels whisper, do not fear what you feel. For divine connection often awakens both comfort and confusion. When two souls meet outside the timeline of logic, the human mind may struggle, but the heart, the eternal heart, remembers. Remember that even Mary carried something she could not explain, yet heaven called it holy. So too has God planted something in you that may not fit into human expectation, but it bears His fingerprint, as it is written, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Isaiah 55:8. NIV, this connection is not meant to challenge morality, but to refine maturity. It is here to teach you what true love means, not possession, but presence, not control, but compassion, not demand, but divine surrender. The younger heart has been searching, longing for a safe place to learn what unconditional love feels like. And God saw in you the tenderness and patience required to reflect His heart back to them. In their eyes, you are peace. In your presence, they feel seen, perhaps for the first time without condition. Do you know what a gift that is? To be the mirror through which another soul meets God's gentleness. The angels say this is not about age, it is about assignment. God matched you because the gap between your years creates a bridge of grace between generations. The younger heart learns reverence and truth. While you rediscover awe and childlike faith, you exchange what each lacks, and together become whole in ways neither could alone. As it is written, one generation will commend your works to another. They will tell of your mighty acts. Psalm 145:4. In Nivi, you are that living verse, a testimony that generations can merge to glorify God. There is a reason this bond feels familiar, as though you have walked together before. It is because your souls were paired long before your bodies were born. The angels call this a timeless covenant, not bound by birth years, but sealed in purpose. When you speak, heaven listens. When you pray for one another, light covers you both. The connection you share is not fleeting emotion. It is an altar where two spirits meet God together. And yes, sometimes you will feel the ache of difference. You will wonder how it can work, how two souls from different seasons could ever meet in the middle. But the angels say, you are not meant to meet in the middle. You are meant to rise together. God did not send this person to match your comfort zone. He sent them to stretch your faith. Their youth will challenge your patience. Your wisdom will challenge their pride. And through these gentle frictions, grace will grow deeper roots. Do not fear the tests. They are signs of divine construction. Just as the potter reshapes clay, so too is God molding both of you into vessels that fit his plan. The angels say this connection carries destiny, not always in the way you expect, but always in the way heaven intends. Sometimes the purpose is partnership, sometimes mentorship, and sometimes healing that prepares both hearts for their separate divine callings. Whatever its form, it is sacred, because what heaven joins, it never wastes. You may feel an urgency in this bond, a sense that time is speeding, that you must protect or pursue it with all you have. But the angels say, rest. You cannot rush what God himself is nurturing. Let the connection breathe. Let it unfold with reverence. Love that transcends time must also learn the patience of eternity. As Scripture reminds us, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. 1 Corinthians 13:4 NIV. This is the kind of love heaven is teaching you now, a love that is steady, surrendered, and sanctified. And as you continue walking this path, you will begin to notice something miraculous. The more you give without fear, the more your soul expands with peace. You will laugh again, deeply, freely. As though your heart has rediscovered spring, you will dream again, not of what could have been, but of what is becoming under God's careful hand. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that what felt unusual was actually divine design in motion. The angels say, do not question the way heaven loves you, simply receive it. Receive the lesson, receive the blessing. Receive the purpose, because you are standing in the middle of a story that is teaching you how to love without boundaries, how to give without fear, how to live without regret, and through it all, you are being shaped into a living vessel of God's ageless grace. If this message has comforted your heart, take a moment to breathe gratitude. Whisper thank you to heaven for choosing you to love in a way the world may never understand. And if you feel led, share this message with another soul who is learning that divine love does not fit the world's calendar. Your support through prayer, kindness, or even a simple thank you helps these angelic whispers continue reaching hearts ready for healing. The angels close this part with peace. Be still in love that transcends time, for it is not meant to be measured, but to be lived. When the purpose unfolds, the eternal bond beyond time, the angels say, you have begun to understand that this connection was never just about two hearts finding one another, but about heaven finding a vessel through which to reveal love in its truest form. What began as wonder, what felt at first like mystery, is now revealing itself as ministry. For love, when born of God, always births purpose. The younger heart that entered your life was heaven's answer to prayers you forgot you prayed. Prayers for renewal, for meaning, for joy that would not fade. And now, slowly, you are witnessing how divine design always weaves beauty through what once felt like impossibility. The angels say that every divine pairing carries a sacred assignment, a calling that serves not self, but spirit. You are being used by God to show that love has no limits when it carries light. You are proof that purpose can unite souls beyond all boundaries, of time, of expectation, of worldly understanding. When you love this younger heart with patience, you are showing heaven's way. When you guide them without pride, you are showing Christ's heart. And when you allow them to remind you of wonder, you are showing the world what redemption looks like in motion. As it is written, let all that you do be done in love. 1 Corinthians 16:14. ESV, you have walked through waiting and questioning, but now God is whispering, this is why I made you wait, so that when I gave, you would recognize me in the gift, for love that transcends. Time is not random affection, it is divine reflection. You are reflecting to one another what heaven looks like when embodied in two souls. The angels say your connection carries healing, not only for you, but for others who witness your faithfulness. Some will not understand it, but those with spiritual eyes will see the beauty of God's handwriting all over your story. For love is not meant to impress, but to bless. It's not meant to seek attention, but to reveal intention, God's intention. He brought you together so that your light would shine brighter as one. And through your bond, He is showing that unity is possible even where difference seems great, as Scripture reminds us. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Galatians 3:28 NIV. In this same truth, there is no young or old in love that flows through the Spirit, only souls, timeless and chosen. The angels say that when two souls are ordained to meet, their meeting ignites divine growth in both directions. The younger heart begins to bloom in maturity, guided by your patience and prayer. And you, beloved, begin to bloom in vitality, reawakened by their energy and joy. Together, you become the balance of heaven's perfect rhythm, like sunrise and sunset, reflecting the same light in different hours of the day. You are not opposites, you are complements of grace. Heaven smiles when it sees you learning from each other, not through lessons of dominance, but through lessons of divine exchange. You teach them what endurance feels like, and they teach you what surrender looks like. You show them how to walk with faith when storms arise, and they remind you how to dance in the rain without fear. This is how heaven heals both generations, through unity, not separation. The angels say that the world often teaches people to build walls, but God builds bridges, and your connection is one of those bridges, a sacred passage through which love flows from one season of life to another. When you speak peace into their life, you are sowing seeds that will grow into their future calling. When they remind you to laugh and live, they are watering the roots of your eternal joy. Together, you are creating ripples of faith that will reach far beyond this lifetime. As it is written, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Colossians 3:23. NIV, so love with all your heart, because this love is your ministry. Be kind without measure, for your kindness carries heaven's fragrance. Be patient with each other, for patience is how God polishes divine unions. The angels want you to know you are fulfilling prophecy simply by loving purely. You are proving that the heart of God still moves freely, unbound by the limitations humanity tries to place on it. When people question your bond, answer not with explanation but with example. Let your peace be your proof. Let your consistency be your sermon. Let your joy be your testimony. For no one can argue with the fruit that grows from love that is rooted in God. As Jesus said, by their fruit you will recognize them. Matthew 7:16. NIV, and the fruit of your connection, the peace, growth, forgiveness, laughter, and light will speak louder than any defense you could ever make. So stand firm in grace. Love without apology. Pray without ceasing, because your connection is not here to please man. It is here to glorify God. The angels whisper that soon you will begin to see miracles around you, moments of divine alignment, answered prayers, unexpected blessings that arrive as confirmation that heaven approves of your path. For when God blesses a bond, He breathes provision into it. He sends peace as its language and growth as its evidence. This younger heart will rise into purpose beside you, and you will find renewed vision through them. You will begin to see how every tear, every delay, every unanswered prayer was preparing you for this sacred awakening. Do not fear where this path leads. Heaven has gone before you. Walk in faith, not in explanation. Walk in trust, not in control. Walk in peace, for peace is the compass of divine love. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. NIV. And that peace is surrounding you now, like golden wings wrapping around your heart. The angels say, you are not too old for divine purpose. You are not too late for divine love, and you are not unworthy of heaven's miracles. This connection is proof that God is still writing new stories with hearts that are still willing to believe. So open your hands, lift your heart, whisper yes to the unknown, because the purpose of this bond will continue revealing itself, not through logic but through light, and one day you will look at this person and realize that what began as curiosity became your greatest spiritual transformation. The angels leave you with this final truth. Where there is divine love, there is no age, no fear, no limit, only the eternal echo of God's heartbeat through two willing souls. If this message has filled your heart with peace, share it with someone who needs to remember that love still carries heaven's fingerprint. And if you feel called to help this message reach more hearts, your prayer, your kind words, and your simple support keep these angelic whispers flowing to souls in need of light. Breathe deeply now. You are part of something sacred, something heaven chose long before you were ready, because God knew this love would change not only your life, but eternity itself. The mission, love as a living ministry. The angels say, you have entered the season where love becomes more than emotion. It becomes evidence of heaven's design. This is the moment when divine connection turns into divine calling, when the bond between two souls begins to reflect the glory of the one who joined them. You have walked through awakening, through doubt, through wonder and surrender. And now you are standing in the light of understanding. This younger heart beside you is not just your blessing. They are your partner in a sacred purpose that stretches far beyond both your lives. For God never joins souls for comfort alone. He joins them for kingdom work. You were matched not only to love one another, but to lift others through that love. Every smile shared between you becomes healing for someone watching in silence. Every word of kindness exchanged becomes seed planted in unseen hearts. Every prayer you whisper together becomes light for those still walking in shadows. The angels say, this connection carries assignment energy. It is not static, it is living, breathing, growing. It calls you to serve, to give, to speak, to show. You are becoming living testimonies, walking verses of God's truth that love transcends time, age, and expectation. As it is written, let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. NEV, this is your shared purpose, to shine, to show that faith does not age, that hope does not expire, and that love born of God never loses its brilliance. The younger heart you were sent is not only learning from you, they are reflecting you. They are watching how you respond to trial, how you pray when tired, how you love when it's hard, and through that quiet example, you are teaching them what divine maturity looks like. Meanwhile, their joy is teaching you something heaven never wants you to forget, how to remain soft, how to stay curious, how to let God surprise you. You balance one another as heaven intended. This balance is your strength, your testimony, your offering back to God. The angels whisper that soon. This connection will expand into impact through your work, through your words, through your shared compassion for others. You will notice divine opportunities appearing before you. People drawn to your presence, asking for comfort, asking for wisdom, asking to understand how you hold so much peace. And in those moments, you will not need to preach. Your love will do the preaching. The peace between you will become a sanctuary. The respect you give one another will become a message to all who doubt. The grace you extend will become healing for hearts who forgot what grace feels like. For this is what heaven intended all along, to make your love a lamp on the hill, a quiet miracle that testifies of eternal love in human form. As it is written, by this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. John 13:35, NIV. And you, beloved, are now living that verse. Every act of patience you offer this younger soul is a sermon, Every time you forgive, you are preaching redemption. Every time you trust God over fear, you are teaching heaven's language without saying a word. This is ministry in motion, the sacred work of love lived faithfully. The angels say this is why your connection feels larger than life, because it was never meant to fit inside ordinary boundaries. You are here to touch others simply by being true to the light within you both. Your laughter together sends ripples into the spiritual world, disrupting darkness, awakening hope in unseen places. Your prayers together open portals of healing, not just for you, but for families, for communities, for generations still to come. Heaven uses relationships like this to restore balance on earth, and you, whether you know it or not, are part of that restoration. Do not underestimate the quiet impact of your love. It is rewriting patterns of fear and doubt in others who are watching from afar. Every divine connection becomes a teaching, and yours is teaching others that love guided by God does not break. It builds, it does not fade, it transforms. It does not conform, it transcends. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "Now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." 1 Corinthians 13:13 NIV. And your love, beloved one, is part of that greatness. It carries faith when the world doubts, hope when the soul trembles, and love when the heart grows weary. The angels are guiding you now to share this light more openly. You may feel drawn to write, to speak, to create, to mentor. Follow those nudges. They are divine whispers calling you into purpose together. This is how the mission grows, through obedience to gentle inspiration. Your story, your union, your example, will awaken others to believe that love can still be holy, that connection can still be pure, that age can never divide what eternity has joined. You are not just living a love story. You are living a legacy. The angels say that one day you will look back and realize you were never merely in a relationship. You were walking a sacred path of transformation, designed to heal not only yourselves, but everyone who witnessed your grace. And when the time comes for this chapter to rest, whether in this world or beyond, the echo of your love will continue to teach hearts how to trust again. As it is written, love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13:8. NEV. That verse was written for moments like yours, for bonds like this, for stories where heaven itself bends close to watch two souls mirror the eternal nature of God. If this message has moved your heart, share it as a blessing. Let your story shine as a light for others still waiting to understand the meaning of divine connection. And if you feel led, support this mission with prayer or kindness, so that these angelic words may continue reaching hearts hungry for peace. The angels close this part with a whisper of assurance. When God writes love into your destiny, He also writes purpose into your path. And when two hearts obey that purpose, they become eternal instruments of His light. Breathe that truth into your soul. You are no longer just in love, you are in ministry. Together, you are the living proof that time bows before divine purpose. And love, real God-breathed love, never ends. The fulfillment, when love becomes eternal light. The angels say, you have come full circle, from confusion to clarity, from longing to peace, from seeking to knowing. You now understand that this connection was never random, never fleeting, never meant to be contained in the limits of human understanding. It was, and still is, a covenant of souls, a sacred contract sealed by heaven, written in the ink of eternity. God matched you with this younger heart, not to complete you, but to awaken the parts of you that had gone silent. Through them, you rediscovered laughter, found courage again, and remembered the rhythm of grace that once guided your every step. And through you, they found safety, direction, and the sacred knowing that love can be holy, gentle, and true. This divine connection has always been about more than emotion. It has been about transformation. You are no longer who you were when this began. Your faith is deeper. Your peace is purer. Your purpose is clearer. The angels say this is what divine love does. It refines the soul until it mirrors heaven's reflection. As it is written, we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory. 2 Corinthians 3:18. NIV. Through this love you have been transformed, not by desire, but by divine design. The younger heart you were matched with was heaven's messenger in disguise. They came not to distract your spirit, but to deliver destiny into your hands. And now that destiny is unfolding, you may notice that your bond has changed, not fading, but deepening, shifting from attachment into awareness, from earthly affection into eternal devotion. This is where divine love matures, where it transcends form and becomes light. The angels whisper that even if distance ever separates you, the bond will remain untouched, because what was written in spirit cannot be erased by time. You will find their energy in your prayers, their laughter echoing through your memories, their love alive in your growth, and they, wherever they go, will carry your wisdom in their choices, your tenderness in their words, your faith in their journey. This is how divine love continues, not through possession, but through presence. For love born of God never demands, it gives. It never fears endings, for it knows eternity has no end. As Jesus said, I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Matthew 28:20 NIV. And through that same Spirit, you will always be with the one your soul was assigned to love. The angels want you to know this love was heaven's mirror, showing you how God sees you, worthy, chosen, unlimited by time, eternal in essence. And now that you have seen yourself through love's divine eyes, you will never return to the smallness of fear. You will love differently now, freely, faithfully, fearlessly. You will walk with peace even in absence, because absence no longer feels like loss, but like preparation for greater reunion. For every soul bound by heaven carries the promise of meeting again. In prayer, in purpose, in eternity, the angels remind you, love does not die. It evolves. It moves from body to spirit, from presence to remembrance, from words to energy. And one day, when your time on earth ends, your souls will recognize each other again, without the weight of years, without the limits of form, dancing in the same divine light that first joined you. The younger heart will not see you as older or wiser, but as equal, two eternal flames finally remembering that you were always one in God. That is why this connection felt different, because it is different. It carries memory from before time, and promise that outlives time. This is the love of eternity, not confined by how the world measures, but defined by how heaven remembers. The angels say, your connection is now a ripple in divine history. Every act of love you shared, every prayer, every tear, every gentle word was recorded in the book of life as proof of what heaven can do through surrendered souls. You have fulfilled your purpose by simply loving without fear. You have touched eternity by being willing to believe, as it is written, whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. 1 John 4:16. NIV, you are living in God now, and through you, God continues to love the world. That is the final stage of divine connection. When it no longer feels like you and them, but like God through both of you, your love becomes the river through which heaven waters dry hearts, the melody through which the weary remember joy, the light through which others find their way home. The angels say that is the purpose that transcends time, to become love itself. When you love without fear, you echo eternity. When you forgive easily, you echo heaven. When you bless others because of what you've learned through love, you echo God. So let your life now become the continuation of that echo. Let your steps carry the peace this bond taught you. Let your voice speak gently, for it now carries the tone of eternity. Let your eyes see beauty again, for they now see as heaven sees, beyond time, beyond age, beyond limits. You are forever changed. And heaven rejoices in that transformation. The angels are gathering around you now, their wings touching the air with light. And they whisper, "You have loved as heaven loves, without fear, without condition, without end." And for that, your name is written among those who understood God's greatest mystery, that love is the bridge between earth and eternity. Rest now in that knowing. You have fulfilled your part of the divine story. But the story itself, the love, the connection, the mission, continues forever, for nothing that was born of God ever fades. If this message has touched your spirit, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that true love never ends. And if your heart feels called, support this ministry with prayer, kindness, or gratitude, so that these angelic whispers can keep flowing into the hearts of those still waiting for healing. Take one deep breath of peace, and let the angel's final words settle within you. Time may pass, but love remains. Souls may part, but purpose endures. And those whom God has joined remain one forever. The eternal rest, when the soul finds home in God's love. The angels say, "You have walked through revelation, through remembrance, through release, and now you stand at the gates of divine peace." This is where striving ends and surrender begins. This is where you stop asking why and start trusting because He loves you. You see now, the younger heart was not only a messenger, they were a mirror. They showed you the beauty that still lived within your spirit, the tenderness you thought had withered with time. The divine spark you once doubted was still shining. God used them as a vessel of awakening to remind you that you were never too late for love, never too old for divine destiny, never too distant from heaven's heartbeat. For what God ordains cannot be delayed by years, nor diminished by circumstance. The angels whisper, "This connection was heaven's classroom. Every joy taught you gratitude. Every ache taught you compassion. Every silence taught you faith. And now the lesson is complete, not ended, but fulfilled. For divine love is not something you graduate from. It is something you become, and you, beloved soul, have become love. You now walk with a softer light, one that doesn't need to prove itself, one that doesn't demand to be understood, one that simply radiates, as it is written, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Matthew 5:16. KJV, "The light within you is no longer searching. It is serving." You have discovered the greatest mystery of all. Love was never meant to stay contained in one story. It was meant to overflow, to touch, to heal, to awaken others. And now that you've learned heaven's rhythm, you will become the melody in someone else's healing. The angels say, "Every person who meets you from now on will feel the peace that this journey birthed in you, for the soul that has known divine love carries heaven's fragrance forever." You will no longer chase signs, they will follow you. You will no longer wait for miracles. You will be one. The younger heart you were once drawn to will go forth too, walking their own sacred path, carrying your love as a shield, your wisdom as a map, your prayers as an unseen wind behind them. And every time they need strength, heaven will remind them. Someone once loved them with God's kind of love. That memory will become their compass. That blessing will become their armor. And you will continue walking hand in hand with the divine, as one who has tasted eternity while still on earth. For love has taught you what heaven always wanted you to know, that God never gives a connection without a purpose. Every person you meet is either a seed or a harvest. And this one was both. It planted light in you, and now, through you, light will be planted in others. This is the sacred exchange between souls, to awaken, to transform, to return home, wiser, humbler, purer, as it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. NIV, you can rest now. You have fulfilled what heaven asked of you. You have loved as heaven loves, without attachment, without fear, without end. And the angels rejoice, for you have joined the quiet ranks of those who understand divine timing. Everything that belongs to you will return in peace. Every soul that was sent for you will find their way back when heaven ordains. Every unanswered prayer will bloom when the season is right. You do not need to force, you only need to flow. And the angels say, now is the time to flow in grace. Let your heart stay open, not as one waiting, but as one welcoming. Let love come in all its divine forms, through friendship, through purpose, through service, through the whisper of God, in the stillness of your spirit. For when you stop searching for love, love starts searching for you, and it will find you again and again, because your soul now vibrates at heaven's frequency, faith, peace, and trust. The angels spread their wings around you now, a soft circle of light, and they sing in silence over your life. Beloved, you have completed the lesson of time. You now understand that love never ends. It only changes form. You are free to live without fear, to love without boundaries, to trust without seeing. For the God who joined your souls is the same God who keeps you both in his heart. And in that truth, you are safe. If this message has spoken to your heart, take a deep breath. Let gratitude fill you like dawn light. Share this word with someone who needs peace tonight. Let them know God's love does not expire. It evolves. And if your spirit feels led, you may support this channel through prayer or kindness, so these angelic words can keep reaching those in need of hope. Before we end, the angels ask you to place your hand over your heart and whisper, I am loved in ways beyond time. I am guided by divine purpose, and I am safe in God's eternal love. Now breathe that truth in, and let it stay with you, like a song you never forget. Because this is the end of the message, but not the end of the story. For divine love never says goodbye. It simply says, see you again when heaven's time meets ours. Amen.